Hi, Angelo. It's April Biss. I'm here to give you some feedback on your newsletter. I think it's just a little easier sometimes to give that through a video. Good job with placing in your page numbers based on the parent pages. The only suggestion I would make is go ahead and double click on your right-hand side of your, oh, you do have it in here. Okay. I was going to say, have your right-hand page be the lower right-hand corner of where your page number would be. I think what's going on here, because you don't have it in facing pages, it's numbering all of this by the left side. It would all be left pages. So that's an easy fix. So just go up to File, Document Setup. And we're just going to click right on here where it says facing pages. Just check that, click OK. And what that's going to do is it's going to number it correctly so that you have, the 3 on the lower right, the 2 on the lower left. And so that would be the only change. So you have a spread here. So it should look like this. Okay, let's go back to page 1. Let's move this down a little bit. I think this is getting a little close to the top. This should be with this information, not up here, okay? Because this is your newsletter masthead. We want to make sure that this is connected with this information. I would make these lines smaller in width. So go ahead and open up your stroke under your window. And I would make that like a 0.25. It doesn't have to be super, super thick. Take away that fill. We don't need that. That fill in there. So let's go to your swatches, your color swatches, and let's say none for the color. Oops, none. There we go. All right, and then we're just going to pull this down just a little closer to that box, and we're going to pull this down just a little bit. And then this box, let's put a no black stroke on that. Let's say none, and we're going to bleed this off, because we have bleeds that should be set, right? Let's take a look at this, if we have our bleeds set correctly. Normal. No, we don't have our bleeds set up. Document set up. All right, so we want to have our bleeds set up at least 0.25. Okay, so how you would do that is go File, Document Setup. Hit that little drop down menu where it says bleed and slug. You just have to do the bleed. So the very top number would be 0.25. That's going to set this up so you can pull all of your elements that will be bleeding off the page. So you won't have any weird white gaps, say if the press were to, go weird on the press. Let's go ahead and pull this down. You're going to have to take your direct selection tool and kind of move this up to the bleeds. That shouldn't print, but it's going to allow you to not have any weird gaps if the paper were to shift on press. Okay, then I would pull this just down a little bit, pull this down a little bit. I'm just kind of moving everything down just so there's equal space. Again, I would make this that 0.25, no fill, just a stroke. Move this closer, and then I would pull all this down a little bit closer to the copy so it all kind of reads together. Okay, so this is what it should look like. Boom. So it all kind of, the sections itself together. All right, the next thing is you have a widow that you have to fix right here. Widows are like the last, say, one word on the last line, but I noticed you have some hyphens anyway to fix as well. So I'm going to put my type cursor right in front of the CLI and do a soft return, which is a shift return on the keyboard. I'm going to do the same before UN and see how that's kind of bumping. We look like we have a spelling error here. Why? Make sure you're spell checking. This is a spelling error right here. I'll show you how to spell check. You just go up to edit spelling and do a check spelling. You should do that before you even place the type in there. Okay, and then let's take a look at your styles. That's your character styles and your paragraph styles. Oops, I'm doing paragraph styles is there. Okay. All right. You have your paragraph set up. Let me take a look at this real quick. 10 by 12. Okay. That's getting a little, that's just getting a little tight there. I would probably open the leading up a little bit. And your baselines aren't quite aligned. You can see how it's kind of shifted. Okay, so we want to make sure your baselines are aligned, and how you could check on that is you would go into your body copy. Let's do a select all. And then you go into your paragraph panel and you would choose the lower right-hand corner, align to baseline grid. And that should shift everything so that it's all aligned on the same baseline. See how it's like all the way across, all straight, perfectly aligned. All right, your subheads, I would make this so you don't have indents here for your subheads. So let's go into paragraph styles. I'm just going to hit basic paragraph to take off what you had. It was set on body copy. We don't want that set on body copy. Perfect for that one. That one looks good. Okay. All right. And then the next thing is this box here is, let's see if it's actually, I would go up, select that. I would go up and go fitting, fill frame proportionally, just to see more than just the little light bulb. I think that kind of is more visually interesting. And do you have a text wrap on this? Let's go text wrap. No, you don't. Okay. So if you go up to window and choose text wrap with this image selected, we can kind of allow this text to be bumped around it, say above it and below it, so it doesn't get too close, by choosing text wrap here, the second button, and then designating your space. Now, I would probably, before you do anything, just unclick that link, because we don't want to do the sides. We just want to do the top and bottom. We just want to add extra space there and extra space there. Now, that's going to mess with your baseline grid here. So what we want to do is we want to bring up your paragraph panel again. Where'd that go? There it is. And let's see. There we go. We just want to bump that up a little bit so that you can see now you're not having any issues with, and I'm just going to kind of move it around in this space, with it aligning with the baseline. So I just kind of moved it up just slightly. So that looks a lot better. It's easier to read. You know, it's not getting in the way of the type. You do have some other things going on here with some of your type here. It looks good. And then we flow into this page. Okay, so you're choosing to start up here. How many pictures did you use? Just one. You could probably use more in here for this one. There's a line here I would get rid of. Not sure what that is. Get rid of that line. I think your spaces aren't very consistent right here. I would take out that extra space. I think you only have one space after each. Yeah. So take that space out. Same with this as well. You don't really have an extra space in between your paragraphs of a story, you know, so take that out. You might want to, just for purposes of balance, maybe flip these two. It might look a little bit better, so that this is kind of on the outside and this type is on the inside. might just kind of balance a little bit better. And then think about how you can maybe place pictures that were given to you in that folder a little bit more dynamically. I think we could do something like this, where you're utilizing this one picture. You just have to pull this in a little bit, but you do have space here. So I would say just kind of play around with it, see what you can do. You can even bring this up to the very top margin. Could be that room. We can bleed this all the way to the left side, kind of have it going off. That way we can see more of this guy on the right here. So this is what it would look like if it was a trimmed view right here. So that's nice. You know, that kind of gives a little bit more of a nice balance there. So think about how you could experiment a little bit with that. You know, do shift returns to fix any of those widows. That looks pretty good. You might want to make this box a little lighter. I see you have a, man, I have all my stuff here. Let me reset my essentials. All my panels out, and that gets annoying. You have it down to 40. Maybe try like 20%. Just makes it a little easier to read that type. And then maybe even imply that with this 20%. So you kind of connect it with this part. It unifies a little bit better. Pull this up a little bit. Actually, I would pull this up to the baseline of your text. Perfect. All right. So, you know, just a few little things. You actually had a really good start. So it was just, you know, nitpicking a couple things. You know, just some tips that I, you know, wanted to give to you that will help clean this up a little bit and make it flow a little bit better. All right. I hope this helps.